According to a 2015 study based on a sample of psychology students at the University of Calgary, the average age of first exposure to pornography is 12.78 years. What were you doing at 12 years old? Some of us discovering our favorite sports, calling our friends to see if they can hang out, or getting art assignments in. But maybe you were part of the many victims of internet pornography. As a frequent user of the internet, I'm not immune to inappropriate ads, softcore porn, and XXX video links literally every time I log in. Over the past winter break, I've been immersed in the NoFap movement, and I've continued research by reading numerous articles and studies about pornography addiction and its effects. By the end of the speech, hopefully I'll have convinced you that because addiction to pornography corrupts children's and teens' mental development, ruins relationships, and negatively influences the perception of women, it should be prohibited. First, I'll show you that pornography is addictive. Then I'll explain my solution. Finally, I'll illustrate the many advantages we can achieve in a world without pornography. So how exactly is pornography addictive? I should clarify by saying that it's not inherently porn that's addictive, but the masturbation that comes with it. But like an anonymous interviewer said in a study done by Hendesser and Dantas in 2022, they reported, pornography was always associated with masturbation. Both of these things were incredibly interlinked. There was never a phase of masturbation without porn. Let's compare this with drugs. Ingesting cocaine causes the brain to emit dopamine, which gives pleasure. You watch porn and same thing. It's this euphoric feeling that makes addicts and users come back over and over and over again, forming a habit. Just like other drugs, pornography users can develop a tolerance. This means that a consumer has to consistently increase their dosage more and more just to get the same effect. What does this look like in terms of porn addiction? Well, someone will start with provocative images, but then move on to more graphic and violent forms of media. If this doesn't sound like an addiction yet, I'll give you a run for your money. The dependent users of pornography can exhibit withdrawal symptoms, just like drug addicts. Have you ever seen a nicotine addict tweak? We've all seen them freak out about not having their fix in hand, getting jittery, anxious, moody, and hungry. Pornography addicts don't have it all that different. Without porn, they can get depressed and anxious and obsessively miss pornography. These symptoms make it very hard for addicts to quit, which characterizes one-to-one addiction to drugs. Well, how pervasive is this issue anyways? Based on the same study done by Hendesser and Dantas of 13 heterosexual and cisgender men, the average age of first exposure to pornography was 11.38 years. That's way younger, actually like a year younger, a little bit more than a year younger than the statistic I used in the hook. In another study done by Grubbs, Krause, and Perry of 2,057 internet users, 1,461 self-reported to have seen porn in their lives. It's more than 50%. And 7% of that report to be addicted. To give you perspective, 7% is more than 1 in 20 people. I'm willing to bet that more than 20 people in this class have viewed porn before, meaning more than one, or probably one, person is addicted. But I digress. Anyways, 27% of that sample reported to have watched porn at least 2 to 3 times in the past year. That seems more legit. That's not to say that they're all addicted, but how many drug addicts do you know are honest about their addiction? Now that we know pornography is addictive, what do we do? Like countless others have suggested, we need to ban pornography at the federal level. Even if it doesn't apply to you that certain people can't control their urges, imagine the implications. A safer world for women, children, and marital relationships. As appealing as this sounds, though, there are still proponents of the legalization. In an article by Quinn and Rexes, it stated that prohibition negatively impacts marginalized groups such as sex workers and the LGBTQ community. Okay, so first of all, the disproportionate disadvantages are due to their choices and careers, nothing else. Additionally, while the outlaw may damage certain communities, pornography negatively affects all communities without regard to religion, race, age, profession, sexuality, or interest. Consider a market for illegal jobs. Hitmen, drugs and arms dealers, and child traffickers. Does their livelihood justify killing people, selling drugs, weapons, and children? If not, then why do we make an exception for pornography, knowing how terrible it is for addicts? Now let's imagine a world without pornography. If we keep it both legal and accessible, we'll continue to worry about the women in our lives in the hands of brain-rotted, addicted men, instead of children learning through action and experience. They're taught right from wrong through a cell phone screen by people they've never met. Growth is initiated by learning through trial, error, and improvement. If children understand sex through pornography, they're robbed of the canon events that are meant to be shared with someone special. That's not to mention, all the other marriages and relationships destroyed by pornography addiction. The number of people losing their sense of self, passion for their partners, and love of life become an issue not just for those involved, but for loved ones too. Without pornography, we won't have to worry anymore about how the world will look at the women that we hold so near and dear to us. All the children that would have been exposed to the graphics of porn will live a decent adulthood and meaningful life free from addiction. They'll instead meet sincere people, form deep bonds, and live genuine experiences. All the broken marriages and relationships due to addiction will be a thing of the past. Imagine the number of spouses that no longer have to worry about their partner's loyalty, and how many people can find wonder in their relationships again. I've explained how porn is addictive, my solution for prohibiting the production and sale, and what we'll gain without it. With that, I hope you can understand why I believe that pornography addiction corrupts the perception of women, children's and teens' mental development, and relationships. Therefore, it should be banned. This can start with you. Call your governors, write to your senators, and vote for those who are committed to a cleaner world. There is power in your democracy. Pornography will remain rampant around us, but the small steps we take toward the prohibition are victories in and of themselves. Thank you for listening to my speech, and I hope you join the NoFap movement.